Welcome to Delta Controls manufacturing building. My name's Craig Johnson. I'm the Director of Manufacturing here at Delta Controls, and I'm going to give you a tour of the manufacturing facilities we have there. We're in the new building, which was built in 2008. If you want to come on in, I'll show you around. This first area that we're in is our receiving department. So the raw materials come in here, they're received from around the world, and are then put into point of use and warehouse locations around our factory. Some of the things you'll see in here are raw materials, cardboard boxes, things of that nature. Some of the things are finished goods. We're going to go through the manufacturing department. It goes around in sort of a horseshoe shape so that products can flow through, and then ultimately comes back out. So if you come in here, we'll start our tour with just getting a ESD code on. These codes are intended to just take the static off of our bodies. Static electricity to electronics is high voltage and can cause damage to some of the electronic components or kill them. Our floor is also grounded, and our employees will either wear anti-static shoes or foot straps to just get rid of any of the static charge. So in here you'll see, this is some of our stocking areas. So there's some a carousel over there, and our warehousing is being done here, management of the inventory. And then through here we'll slip into the next room, which is our assembly area. We have two technologies, through hole and surface mount. So I'll show you the surface mount technology first, and then the through hole. We've got 3 lines of surface mount. So you can see the banners up there for line 1 and line 2. And then behind me here is line 3. The products start as bare circuit boards as they go through these lines. The first step in the process is a solder paste printer or screener. It's squeegeeing down that paste, the solder metals and flux paste, and then just leaving it exactly where we want it on the circuit board. Now, the red light that you see, it's inspecting each of the holes to make sure that they're not plugged. So the next step in the process is the components are being placed down. So this series of machines, there's 3 of them in a row. They're all identical Panasonic machines. So what it does is it picks up the components, and you'll see 8 heads moving around, picking the components up and then placing them down. On the reels here, there's a black square that you'll see, which is the actual component, and then the circle that advances the tape along. Occasionally at the bottom, we have parts that fall off. Some of these components are getting so small. You'll see on the screen a picture of every component as it picks it up, and it knows whether it's dropped the component, it knows whether it's a little bit crooked, so it'll place it down more straightly. We've also got on there the yellow serial number. With that, we can tell the life cycle of the product as it goes through our factory here, and then what customers it gets shipped out to. When it comes back on repair, that's recorded for being able to do different statistical analysis, and anything if we ever had to recall a product, we've got that life cycle information. And the oven is the next thing on our stop. In this case, it is a 9-zone oven that goes through and heats up the board with convection air and electric heaters to be able to warm it up and melts that solder flux, the gray solder flux we saw put on there, and then that makes the electrical connection with the circuit board. At the end of every one of our lines here, the 3 lines I was referring to earlier, we've got somebody doing surface mount VI. VI meaning visual inspection. They'll inspect the board, touch it up if it needs it, and then they record by serial number the faults that they find so that we can try and do some improvements on increasing our yield. In other words, increasing the good quality boards out of our machinery and processes. We are producing about 2,500 pieces a day, give or take, depending upon the complexity of the boards and what have you. So with that kind of volume, it's very important that if we catch something sooner, it avoids rework in the future. The next process is the through-hole components. So surface mount is literally the components that sit on the surface. Through hole is the traditional electronics where it goes through the circuit board, and that's what quite often in high school electronics people are used to doing. What we do is we hand place the components, and that's what you'll see Carol here doing. And then they'll go through a machine to do the soldering. There's two types of machines we have. The one that's right here in front of us is a selective solder, and it does a preheat to elevate the temperature to about 100 degrees C. And it does a flux spray. The fluxing in this machine is very accurate. It's done similar to a dot matrix printer where it's just spraying the flux exactly where the pin is, rather than the traditional wave solder machine where it coats the entire bottom of the board. The screen lets us look into the machine. That's what's actually happening right now. It's a real-time look at the soldering process. So Michelle's going through and she's inspecting the boards that come off of the end of the machine. And then again, she records them by serial number, records any faults that she may have found. Some of the people that have been here before will have remembered our old wave solder machine, or if you're familiar with electronics, you'll understand the wave. This works a very similar process. You put a circuit board in, it goes up the conveyor, and then as I was saying, the flux is all coated on to the entire bottom of the circuit board as it goes through the conveyor. And then you can see the circuit board going through and being coated on the bottom with the solder that's flowing over and literally flowing like a wave. And then at the end of this process as well, we have visual inspectors. Also here we have people that are doing the post soldering. So that's literally hand soldering. We have some products, it's getting less and less, and especially with our selective soldering machine, able to do so much more. But some products where we have to actually assemble and then hand solder the components on the circuit boards. So also in this area is the depanelizing. So what we do is products, some you'll see are made in multiples of 4, 6, 8, 10. We have some products where they're approximately 50 or even more. When it goes through the machine process, if you can handle one board and it does 8 products or 10 products, it's just a little less handling than if you're doing those 10 products, let's say, one at a time. So those are the machines. A lot of the rest of our process is very manual. Due to the high mix of products that we have, the high variations that we have, to try and provide our customers with a lot of flexibility and a lot of options. You'll see of test jigs, for example, in the testing department. Other times we use graphics, and a lot of our old test procedures, we're actually using the Delta OrcaView software that our customers will use. In this area, there is some in-circuit programming done. So in-circuit programming is similar to loading Windows into onto a computer. So it's the basic operating system for our products. Also in this area, we'll do a lot of the programming of some of the parameters to tell it what kind of product type it is, the hardware revision, in some cases the serial numbers. So you'll see various steps of that being done throughout this area. And then we move into more of the final assembly, and that's essentially the mechanical assembly, assembling things into their plastic housing, putting the connectors on. In some cases, we'll actually combine those steps, and it works really nicely if we can combine it so that we have 1 or 2 people working on all of those steps at once and just lessen the flow. Another part of our process is the configurables, which is products that are configured to what the customer needs. So this also allows us to have a great flexibility. Another one of the devices we use is our X-ray machine. The X-ray machine allows us to see solder joints. It's also beneficial to be able to see counterfeit components. It's a good troubleshooting tool for that. On this side of the walkway here is our repair department. This group handles customer repairs, so this is the RMA group, and then also the rework for the manufacturing repairs, primarily from the test group that has gone through and tested them on the test jigs. The products that fail that will come here for troubleshooting. These barriers that are here are just a COVID-19 temporary to try and just help protect employees that sit close to the walkways, so that's why they're up. The last step is our shippers. So the shelves that you'll see here are finished products that are sitting in finished goods inventory, waiting to go to partners. The shippers will take those products, put them into the overlay boxes that you can see with the Delta tape sealed up, and they'll scan the serial numbers that are going to what invoice, and then fill our customer needs, packaging them up, invoicing it, and then shipping it around the world. We are shipping into over 80 countries, and as I said, we manufacture and ship about 2,500 of our own built products in a day. The shipping group handles a little bit more of that because we do have our field devices, which are purchased and repackaged and shipped out from here as well. And then we end up back where we started. So these are our production and supply chain offices, as well as we have global inside sales in this group. So the global inside sales is also the customer service, order taking, and the quotations for our customers. These groups are able to work together with the manufacturing group and the supply chain group to be able to communicate the demands of our customers. A lot of our customers have come to depend upon us for quick delivery of their orders. Same day, next day orders, they've really come to benefit and enjoy that from us. So this is the inventory area that we have upstairs. It has a lot of our raw materials here. Very important to us, just being able to stock the raw materials so that we can make the products that are needed when our customers need them. So this is the upstairs area of final assembly that I was referring to. And then a lot of our configurables, the thermostat configurables are done up here. And usually the EBMs for our eBus products are done here as well. Both the assembly and testing. This is our lunchroom for our production staff. They have coffee breaks throughout the day that they'll enjoy in here. This is also where we hold our town halls. We have about 200 plus employees sitting in here, enjoying what John Nichols has to share with us for updates to the company. That's done typically on a monthly basis. So thank you very much for enduring with me. I just love being able to show people around. It's exciting for us to be able to manufacture product in North America and continue to have a good commitment with the design group and the other building, and working with them and improving our products so that our customers get the quality products that they've come to expect. I really appreciate your involvement in that, and thanks again just for your time today.